I got a major surprise right now. It's Finsta Fi. We in the streets. Do y'all have any idea where we are? Do you know who we with? No, because you got to be interdimensional to understand this right now. We are in the portal, and right now we're locking it in with my man SkyBlew, Love, and my man, show him who you are. Mayday's in the building, y'all. What's up, what's up, what's up? We feel so honored to be here right now because this is a major interview, and they have given us the love and coverage to bring it to you all, to expose it from our expression, from our viewpoint. And if you could feel the energy beside me right now, then you will understand why there's this grin on my face. I'm so in love right now. Hey, brothers, how y'all doing?
Peace,
how you doing?
Oh,
He's so soft-spoken over here. Introduce yourselves to the people.
I'm SkyBlew. I don't rap, I paint the sky blue. So,
You heard
colorful
that.
dreamer, all that. Jazz spaceman.
Hey, it's MayDay, MayDay Glow, for those who know. You know what I mean? Right out of the east side. Happy to be here.
The east side. The east side of what plane? The east side of what county? The east side of what city? The east side of what? It's a lot of east.
Well, first and foremost, there are a lot of east, and there's only one east all at the same time. Isn't that interesting?
It is. Multiple, but yet one. Just like people.
I like to feel like I'm from every east side, if there is one anywhere. But the first east side that I came through was east side of the Bull City. So
Represent Bull City, Durham County. For those who don't know any better right now, we are in North Carolina. We're in Raleigh, North Carolina. We're at what, 2902? Is that correct? 2902?
the portal is here.
In Hillsborough Street. Y'all don't know how many different highways, byways, portals, dimensions I had to take to get here. Even though it seemed like it was only one path, once you enter the door, it's totally different. Like, the space is amazing. If you haven't been here, look it up, the portal, Hillsborough Street, 2902. Who can tell me something about this space?
I could definitely give you some background on this space. So this space is a creative space. It's a safe space. It's an expressive space. It's a brave space is what we call it. So it's a space for people to be able to come and not only either express themselves, but also be able to curate and bring their vision to life, to bring it into the 4D, as we could say. So whatever you kind of are thinking of, maybe you're thinking of a real cool interview with a dope duo. Maybe you're thinking about doing your next show. Maybe you're thinking about a release party. Maybe you just want to get some people together and sit in a room and read books.
This is a space.
It's a space for it. So we look to make those come alive in whatever way we can and bring it in. So essentially, it's almost a production space, so to speak.
Production space. So artists, beings, those who just want to chill, who want a great vibe, things of that nature. How do they find out? Who do they contact in order to have something, be a part of the portal?
They can look us up at the portal.outlet or the portal connections, where those are both on IG. You also can tap in with Swim behind me if you look it up. It's spoken words in motion. It's also source water in motion.
And we know how water is once it's in
got
motion.
Some of that right over there, and you can look that up at swimwater.us and get connected through there as well.
I didn't get any water.
Would you like a water?
I would like some water. What's up with the water?
It's being, you know what I'm saying, it's teleporting itself as we speak.
Well, I'll wait for it to make its way to me on that teleportation. But right now, let's get into it. Let's get into this thing because I know people are anticipating. It's good stuff. We got a lot of coverage to go because this brother right here has a lot to drop. Between the two of this knowledge is crazy. The experience is crazy. The music is crazy. If you haven't heard this brother out here freestyle, it's crazy.
Facts.
SkyBlew. Please spell blue for those who just haven't been in this dimension with us long.
It's BLEW,
That's
capital
right.
S, capital B, no spaces, all one word.
All one word.
You heard?
SkyBlew is an artist, and I don't even want to put him in a category, just like he said, not a rapper because he paints the sky blue. So when you use that analogy, what are you trying to tell people about your music and about you?
Well, I'm trying to tell them that anytime you hear a song or a painting, it's more than just, oh, these are just raps on a beat. It's like it's gonna be a story. It's gonna be something that you can visualize, and when you listen to it, it paints a picture. And that's what people was telling me for years about my music before I even, came up with that slogan. And I was like, oh, okay. And I tied that into what I'm trying to do as an artist, which is, I'm trying to be able, if you're going through something metaphorically, like you having a gray cloud storm or something, when you you listen to one of my songs, it's gonna, chase the storm away. It's gonna metaphorically bring you peace of mind, bring the blue skies in. So that's two things in one, the entendre of that. I'm trying to,
entendre,
chase the storms away. And also, I want you to know that it's you visualize a full painting with every song. Every song is like an adventure. It's like a full, vivid painting of different themes and elements that you can expect, and you get something different from them every time, but you're gonna know that there's more than meets the eye and the ear on it. So, paint a whole picture,
So every creation is an experience.
Mm-hmm.
And you're sharing that experience with others.
Yep.
So they're not just listening, but they're feeling.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's what I get when I listen to the music. Because it's such a
Appreciate
range. You have such a range. We're going to get into it, the depth of the range. But just so I don't jump, I don't go too fast. It is a range that not just in music genre, but when you start talking about those that are listening, when you start talking about your listeners and your followers, the range there also. I am what I am in age. That's right. Somebody taught y'all well. Somebody taught y'all well. I am what I am in age. They are what they are in age. I'm not ashamed of my age. I'm not in the same generation as you are. I'm a Gen Xer, but I can listen to your music all the way through and rock with it. I came in rocking on it. There's nothing. I'm like, okay, next. None of that whatsoever.
No, appreciate you.
I can liken you to a couple of artists to this day that are above and beyond their times, but you yourself, I don't have to liken you because you are. You're SkyBlew. I'm going to liken you to you. You are a creation alone. You're an individual, and your music shows that. It's not a genre. The music is not a genre at all. Like I said, it's such a range development that I'm highly impressed.
Thank you.
You've been doing this since the early 2000s. You've been doing this for a very long time. How or who gave you that, let's say, that exposure that allowed others to know beyond your following that you already had? Who gave you the exposure to let the world know, I'm SkyBlew and I'm out here?
Actually, I'd say the internet. Mm-hmm. Because in high school, MySpace and everything was starting to take off, and Facebook. Actually, it was more MySpace first, and and we was using that, and we was using like SoundClick and all that. Before SoundCloud, there was SoundClick. By the way, y'all, I know you might not know what that is.
History lessons.
But SoundClick, people was putting mad songs up there and albums and beats and everything like that. So we was putting stuff up there, and then MySpace took off, and all the youth.
Day, boy, that was a platform for everything: dating, music, hookups, friends,
parties,
travel, everything.
Yep, absolutely.
And so you use you use the exposure from MySpace, SoundClick. Put yourself out there, and how long did it take for you to take off?
It was like some years of like trial and error, just trying different things and trying different platforms too. But I know at one point in high school, like MySpace, I had a nice following up there. I was starting to get like a couple 100,000 on the music on like MySpace and stuff.
Wait a minute, did you say in high school you had a couple 100,000 followers?
Yeah,
on MySpace.
Yeah.
A couple 100,000 followers. I had a couple of 100 followers, and I thought I was the shit. And you had a couple 100,000?
Yeah, and but
crazy.
It gets, it's one of those things where, like, if you're an artist, you'll know. It's like when you're in high school, it's like everybody, and you doing music or something like that. Everybody's rocking with you. It's like a big deal. Every show and everything. It's like, the weekends.
So
it's love. But after high school,
tell the truth now.
It was like it was like you had to restart because everybody branched out and went different places, went different schools and stuff like that. So Now it's just like, I guess if I'm in town, I could come and things like that. But like at that point, MySpace, everybody was just on it, and everybody was, they was
Doing
putting
their own thing.
doing their own thing, and they was putting their song on their profile,
Yes,
and that
yes.
helped the views too, and it helped just get it out, So I was just putting tons of music up there, and and going like that, and then
You won't even worry about any copyright infringements, anything like
Nah,
that.
and I had
Please
tons
post
of
my
samples.
music on your profile. Please put this up there.
Yeah.
Yes.
and I had tons of samples and all that. But after that, it was just like trying different platforms and everything like that, and blogs and stuff. So
Yeah,
hip-hop
blogging really took off around that era.
Yeah, definitely.
Blogging was a big deal then.
No, I can attest to that. Blue is the first artist that I ever saw. I would come in after we were done writing, after we were done practice freestyle and all this. He's on his computer like sending out emails.
See, he was
I was
networking.
like-
he was
I was like,
ahead of
yo,
the
what
game.
are you doing? He's like, yeah, I got a bunch to send out to a couple of these blogs, see if they're going to get this song. I was like, word. I don't know if I ever really seen anybody who raps send an email before. And like, he has, if you ever received them, they're some of the best, like, most like professional emails, like colorfully laid out that you've ever gotten. It's the most intriguing thing, but it's a testament to his dedication to the art, because he really didn't see it as anything separate or anything like that. So I definitely have seen that from him.
Business. It was business. It was part of the marketing skills that came with your, not just your passion, but with your skill set. So you came down here for this. This is what you came here for. When you came to Earth, this is what you knew you was going to do, and it just became a part of life, and you do what you got to do to get it done, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
So
much.
let's back it up then. Where are you from?
I'm originally from the clouds. Okay. So,
That's
Hey.
right. That's
but
right.
actually, I'm from Auburn, Alabama. So I spent half of my childhood down there in Alabama, which was crazy. But that's where I'm originally from.
Auburn, Alabama. That's a lot. That's a very heavy state. It's a lot. It's a lot for people of our skin color down there. Alabama has a lot going on down there. It's a lot of history. It's a lot of struggle. It's a lot of motivation down there as well because of the struggle.
Yeah.
What was Alabama life like for you? Is that okay to talk about?
Yeah, that's okay to talk about. It was interesting because I spent a fraction of my life in Alabama, and as much as I love Alabama, it's crazy because I don't want to throw shade on it or anything. But the most of the time I spent there was bad, and that's because I was in foster care and stuff like that. So
People don't know that. The people don't know about. So you came up in the system as a foster child.
yeah,
At how young of an age did you enter into the system?
I think I was like 6.
So you had to experience the first beginning stages of memory that you start developing. I don't want everybody else start remembering having their memories where they form, but when you speak from a medical standpoint, your memories formulate and stick around the age of 5. So around 5 and 6, I remember things back in the cradle. I remember things when I first came down here.
Same, actually.
Exactly. I remember the cradle. I remember one of my best memories was a 3-year-old memory laying in the crib looking up at the sun come through the sky and just being in awe at the rays on my face. And nobody believes me, but I definitely believe. But once we hit the preschool, kindergarten age era, those are the memories that stick with us vividly.
yeah.
So you're with family at around up until 6 years old. Give us
Yeah.
a story if you don't mind.
Yeah, I was with family at that time, and it wasn't the nicest of time, before I went to foster care. So I did, it's funny that you say about the memories, because one of my best memories I had was like being like 1, and I just remember like my mom like coming home from she had me young, so she was coming home from college, and we would eat like Stouffer's lasagna. That was like, and I still love
lasagna was the bomb. My mom used to get the spinach one.
Yeah. And she would like eat it and like dip it on her tongue and stuff and kind of like feed it to me a little bit as a kid. And I never forgot that. That's one of my memories that I always remember. as like a
Yes.
baby, you know.
I got to segue into that real quick. We're gonna cook because we don't want to take away from your story.
Oh, no, you good.
But as a child, it was normal for me for my mother to chew her food and then put it in my mouth.
Yeah.
But do you know that it's something that comes from Africa? It's a traditional thing that you did for it has a name to it. And I don't want to make it up because I don't want to lie. And I'm not making this up. You know, those who know me, they know my
Yeah,
travels, they know where I
absolutely.
live it. But the chewing of the food and then putting it into your child's mouth it's a term for it, but it's also was a way, it's a bonding ritual and it was also a protection ritual. And I found that out later doing my travels and studies because I was like, I never understood why my mother would chew the food and then put it in my mouth. You know, and also children, when they didn't have teeth, it was you don't have baby food in a jar in certain places. So you
Yeah.
got to chew that food up. Or we didn't have food grinders. We didn't have those things. We didn't have all those privileged items and utensils and, you know, crock pots and all that good stuff. No. So my mother would always chew, and I used to love it. Like, I never thought anything about it. She would chew up the meat, put it in my mouth, and I'd chew it right on up and swallow it. But for you to say that brought a memory back that I hadn't even thought about in a long time.
Wow.
And you said your mother was in college. Your mother was in college when she had you, or did she have you before college? How old was she when she had you?
I think she was like fresh. I think she was like fresh out of high school and early college at Southern Union, and she would like, you know, go to school and then come home and like take care of me and stuff.
Wow. So
Yeah.
so what happened in those young stages? You got these nice vivid memories of your mom, and the next thing you know, you're in Alabama with these bad memories, as you label them.
Yeah, some things happened at that time. You know, it was all good. And then there was, you know, certain things transpired, and you know, a change happened, like a shift happened, and it wasn't as nice of memories, you know. And some things happened, and I don't want to paint nobody in a negative light, you know. Let's know some things happened, and from there, I had to end up going to foster care, and then that's when life got really crazy. Like, yeah, life really got crazy from there, and you know, I kind of tell it a little bit in my albums. I tell like pieces of my story. I don't tell it all at once. So I kind of over time I can give them more and more. They learn something new about me. Like even this now, me saying this, people that know my story or know portions of it, they're gonna hear this and be like, oh wow, you know, that I'm even saying this, you know. But like,
It's a release.
yeah, it is, you know, and so once things started to happen that way, I guess, you know, people started to change, and you know, maybe I took the butt of like the, you know, of a lot of,
You often do.
yeah, and so from there I had to go to foster care, and from there I was going from like home to home, and it was like foster homes. I was like in a Presbyterian home. I was like in a children's hospital at one time, and these are memories too, and these are memories that, you know, I kind of talk about little by little, and
Yeah.
it, you know, it sucked. So, you know, to put it frankly, you know, and every now and then you'll get in a home that you like, and then it's like, oh, well, for a week, and then you're in another one.
Wow.
Especially in the South. I don't know how different it is in different places, but I know I spend a lot of time being at a house for like a week or something, and I wasn't doing nothing wrong. It was just like, it was placeholder. It was like, oh, then you go here for like
Had
maybe
to
a
shuffle
month.
around.
Yeah, I did that a lot. So
Up until what age did you had to shuffle through the system?
maybe till 13, maybe 13, 14. No. I think maybe like 12. Cause my last foster home I was in was the longest one I was in, and I feel like it was maybe 2 to 3 years I was in there.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the worst one.
Wow.
So,
Wow. Shuffle around. Okay. Then when I get some stability, I get into the worst situation that you could put me in.
yeah. It was crazy, and I tell it a little bit in my albums, and about this particular place. I made a whole, like, we'll get into my music story, because I got a whole story and world I created, but there's certain moments in time that chronicle that house that I was in, that haunted house. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
And it was bad.
So I want to say this. Number one, I respect the higher level of energy by you not highlighting the lower level energy, by not focusing on those situations that created the experience to allow you to be the man that you are now. You look, you focus, you tell the story because you never know who's out there that need to hear this story to assist with them. You survive the stories that you endured because you chose this life to be bigger than what it is and to be a representation of survival and strength and artistry, and to be out there to say, this happened to me, but I'm not going to focus on anybody. I don't want to paint anybody in this light because unfortunately we are human beings.
Yeah.
It doesn't
absolutely.
make excuses for, accountability, but we are human beings, but we all come from the same place. We all come from the ethers. Our energy shifts, in different environments, and not all of us are strong enough to be that higher level energy that others are. And you, brother, are a working soul amongst a lot of low level energy that has, made your way through and live in the clouds. You chose the clouds versus the ground. And because you were able to escape to the clouds, your music is now a platform for those that are trying to find their way off the ground. So
Wow.
as painful as the story is, because as I'm sitting here, as I'm listening to you, I feel you. So and I'm proud of you being able to tell that story because you've overcome the pain, but you haven't stopped feeling the pain. So if you didn't, you wouldn't be able to express it in artistry. You got to feel it for others to feel it, and for you to be strong enough to still feel it and to tell that story. I say I'm proud of you, and I appreciate you, and I salute you for being here, because there are a lot of people who are not here to tell that story. What changed at 13 where the system was no longer in your life? Or 12, 13 era?
That's when, thank you, by the way. That really means a lot. For real.
You don't have to thank me. I thank you for being here.
That's when my grandma came along. My grandma would come pick me up on weekends from that home that I was in.
Mm-hmm. The haunted house.
Yeah, the haunted house, definitely. See, I have two grandmas that I talk about in my music, and they know that my grandma is a centerpiece in my music. I always mention her.
Shout out to grandma.
Shout out to grandma. And I got her. She representation on my hand and stuff. So
that's right.
But that's not the one that would pick me up. It was my other grandma. Mm-hmm. She would pick me up on weekends where they had a little thing in foster care where somebody that they trusted would come. You can go to their house for the weekend, and so she would pick me up and take me to her house and stuff. She would take me to church and everything like that. And
grandma gonna take you to church, especially in Alabama.
Man, yeah.
You going to church.
Yeah.
Might even sit front row.
Yeah. So shout out to my grandma Carol Farrell. I know she gonna watch this, by the way.
That's beautiful. Hey, Grandma Carol Farrell.
Hey, Grandma. So she would pick me up. And what's crazy about that too is it seemed like every time, maybe a few weekends out of the month that she would pick me up, it would seem like it would always be storming on that Friday. And
because Grandma was bringing the storm, she came to cleanse everything out. I'm coming to get my baby, and I'm coming to get him, and I don't know what's going on, but I'm about to make it rain on all y'all before I come get him. And we about to let y'all know I'm coming. Here I come. The storm is here. I'm coming. But every time she came, it would be a storm.
It's like it would be a storm, and that storm would almost try to hinder her from coming, because sometimes she had to cancel, because of this. Yeah.
Nah.
And I remember that because I think about it. I'm like, dang, that's crazy. Because if it got so bad and she couldn't come, I'm like, oh, my weekend's ruined.
Yep, you stuck.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for those who might not know, Alabama actually has some really bad thunderstorms.
Yeah.
Being towards that Gulf watery area.
Yeah.
Anywhere that's been near water, you know how hurricanes and all that get. Thunderstorms are different. So that you know what I mean?
They're pretty tsunami-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. My family's from the south down there, Mississippi actually.
Oh.
So
Yeah, that's the last real bad thunderstorm I was in. I was in Biloxi. Super bad.
Don't even talk about it. Don't even talk about it. I already know how that go. Yeah, we're going to come back to that one, though. I want to hear that. So the storms would come on the weekends.
Yeah.
Try to block Grandma from coming.
Yeah.
But I say Grandma was a storm and you didn't even know it.
Yeah.
But
A lot of times she would still
projecting
come,
that
yup.
energy. She's like, I'm coming.
Yeah.
That energy inside. So grandma came.
Yeah, and she would pick me up, and I'd go down there, and I would enjoy that with my cousins and stuff. And then she knew my dad, and she ran into him, and I ended up meeting him through her. That was the first time I think I seen him when I was younger, but I didn't fully remember, and I ain't seen him since then. So she ends up setting that up, and I meet my dad, and she's like, "Yeah, this is your dad and stuff." And
Wow, what's that like at 12 years old?
yeah, like 12.
This is your dad.
Yeah, it's like
This is your Uncle Frank. You never seen him before, but hey, this is your dad.
this is your dad.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's that?
Wow. How
Yeah.
deep is that? Like, what is that exactly? I've been here for the past 7 years. You talking about this is my dad? Okay. Grandma, you got some explaining to do.
So from there, I would see them both, and then eventually he would start come picking me up and stuff like that. And so
Wow.
I would start spending time with him, and got to know him, and then he ended up taking me out. So he went through the
Necessary process.
and he took me out of the foster home.
He stepped up to the plate.
Absolutely.
He came and got his son.
Yep.
It's
And
never too late, people.
yeah.
It's never too late. If you're breathing, it's never too late to do the right thing. Yeah, and a lot of people are held back by ego, by shame, and they don't know what approach to take. So I commend your dad for doing what was necessary. It had been 12, almost 13 years,
Yeah. Yep.
and he didn't want to see his son there anymore.
Yep. He didn't even know. That's crazy because
Wow.
whatever situation was going on, I ain't gonna get too deep into that. Just he didn't know where I was at all.
Yeah.
So he didn't even know I was in foster care. He met my grandma, and she was like, "Yeah, I come pick him up on weekends.
Wow.
Your son."
Yeah, your son.
Yeah.
Your son.
And that's her.
the child that you procreated. Yeah, him.
Yeah. And then it was like, "Yeah, I wanna see my son." And he went through those necessary processing channels to do that, and he did that. And I ended up living with him for a while. And
What was that like, having your pops around?
it was interesting.
Because you're at that age right there where, you know how y'all get around 12, 13, that, the hormones kick in, you know everything, a little rebellious. But boys are different. Girls are more rebellious around that age. Guys just get a little lazy around 12, 13.
Oh, you already segue in, so I mean already. So
I
yeah,
got two sons. Shout out to my boys.
Yeah.
I got two of them. One is already grown. One of them is at 12 years old. He's taking long showers. He's taking long showers right now.
Shout out to him.
You know what I'm saying? He's taking long showers right now. I know what it means. Unfortunately, yes. So that's the lazy stage. You with Pops. It's a new era. Pops is already an adult. There's been a gap where he hasn't been in your life.
Yeah.
Now he's in your life. Y'all are living together. How did that go?
it was like we was both learning,
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so we was kind of bumping heads a lot about things because he's new to this and I'm new to this,
Yeah.
and I'm confused about a lot of things.
Yes.
And so, it just, we was trying to make it work, and it was, and my dad was like heavy into the church too. And
Oh wow.
yeah, and,
Alabama's strong, I tell you.
and he was like teaching me a lot of things that I still instill now.
Great.
But it was at certain points where we bumped heads because it was a little extreme to me because I didn't know a lot of that. I'm like,
You were raised by the system.
yeah, I'm just going through the motions of things. So I was with him for a few years, and we moved to North Carolina after my grandma died, and not the one that was taking me.
Yeah.
This is my grandma. Arnita,
And you just
that
told
I
her she
talk
was
about.
watching, so I know that wasn't the one that
Yeah.
passed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize I said okay. I was just adding more context,
So your other grandmother passed.
Yeah.
And
this,
after she passed.
this is one I talk about all the time when I mention my grandma. I talk about both too, but I mention my grandma a lot, like rest in peace. And she, when I was staying with my dad, I would go to her house on weekends as well. So my grandma.
So now you got both grandmas in
Yeah.
there. Oh, that's some good eating. They were both in.
Yeah, definitely.
Was the other grandma in Alabama?
Both of them was in Alabama.
Oh my gosh. And then grandma moved to North Carolina?
My dad.
Your dad, he
We-
left
we-
all that good food?
Yeah. It was
What?
because we was in the in the area that we was in. It was crazy. A lot of my
You ever had
it was
corn
like.
salad?
What is that?
You You ever had corn salad?
I never had that. What's that?
Oh my
Corn,
God.
tomatoes.
Yes, he knows. I never had it. Till I went
Is
to
that a
visit.
South thing I'm missing on?
Yes.
Oh, I
Man,
didn't even
fire.
know that. I'm
might make
just
it, bro.
greens and stuff.
Oh,
we
my
be on the
God.
healthy- We be on the healthy. We've been on the healthy food.
It's
kick
it's
for-
it's,
Yeah, we
it's, it's
did.
as healthy as you're gonna get down there in the South as far as salad.
Oh, no
stuff.
one I hear about it because I ain't eat nothing healthy down there.
It's-
When I was down there,
Technically, it's
I
not.
started eating healthier.
It got
after that.
sugar and mayo and stuff in it. But it's good. So now you're in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Pops moves.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't got grandma cooking no more.
Unfortunately,
Boo.
yeah, because my grandma had died at that point. When I'm talking about
Yeah, she left
and-
us. She transitioned on.
Yep. And I would go down there on weekends. My cousins was living at my grandma's house at that time. And so I would be down there with them on the weekends and with my grandma. And that was like one of my safe spaces. I would love going
Yes.
down there. And I was close to my grandma. I really loved her. I think, too, because like that was the closest I had to like a mother figure at that
Yes.
time, you know? So I
Yes.
really had got attached to my grandma. And when she died, that just kind of like, that's my first time dealing with that, like a death like
Yeah.
that, you know? And I didn't know what to do with that. I was like, what do you mean she gone?
Exactly.
And just seeing
How do I process
how do I
that?
process that? You know, me being at the hospital, my cousin punching a hole in the wall
Yeah.
at the hospital. I just remember those moments, and I'm like, life is about to change for me, and I don't understand that, but I understand that it is about to happen. And it did change after that. And after that, we moved to North Carolina, and my dad was like, he wanted to take me to a better area, and I had cousins down here. It was like, we got to get out of here because my friends were dying and going to jail, literally.
Alabama.
Yeah.
Alabama.
And it was, gang stuff. I was getting caught up in that stuff. It was like, you got to get up out of there. And so we came to North Carolina, and I was finishing high school up there. And that's when, more of the headbutting with my dad happened. And, I ain't
And around
disrespect
what age is
my
this?
dad at any point, not disrespect or anything. I'm just telling that,
Telling you, you telling your story.
you know?
You telling your story. And you're around what age now? Like 16, 17?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did I know that?
Yeah. We in tune. It's,
How did I
in tune.
know that?
Yeah. And so I ended up going off back to Alabama for a little bit. And I had to skip a little portion of school at that time. I went back there where my aunt was living down there, who was the mother of my cousins that were living in my grandma's.
Back to your safe space.
Mm-hmm. So I was like the closest I had to that, And so I was back there for a little bit, and then things were happening down there and stuff, and people were dying as well down there.
Wow.
And first time witnessing somebody get killed in front of me. It's So I was like, okay, this is
It's
crazy.
setting the foundation. It's setting the building blocks up.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't even know this at this time.
Yeah, didn't. I'm just going through it. I'm just literally.
You lifing.
Yeah, I'm lifing.
But for you were young, and it's all confusing because you didn't.
Life in the first person.
Yeah, you
Yes.
didn't have any tools. You didn't have any tools to navigate through.
I'm thinking life
This
is
life.
supposed to be like this. Like,
Isn't that sad how we think that? Because we come up in certain situations,
Yeah.
and that's what we know. So that's life for us.
Yeah.
People say all the time, kids out here running the streets in the middle of the night, they can just fight and shoot
Yeah.
people like it's nothing. That's all they know.
Yeah.
That's life for them. That's what they know. They don't know a life outside of that.
Yeah.
So what are they supposed to do? They don't know that. They can fantasize about what they see and hear about, but all they know is roaches, people dying, piss in the corner of the stairs,
Yeah.
maybe food, maybe not food, pimps on the corner, number running. I'm talking my era. We know the era come up later with the drugs, heroin, things of that nature.
Yeah.
But this was everyday visualization, mental health. There was nobody put their family in mental institutions. You always had that one cousin, uncle, somebody.
My mom used to say, they be like, Aunt Mary just be off.
Exactly,
Yeah.
a little off.
Just be a little off.
Yeah, that
little-
one person in the
Don't
family.
do this or that. And you
Exactly.
that's
If
it.
they say something, just keep moving, baby.
Yep.
And that's how we
Yeah.
function. We didn't have the tools then that were offered to others, not us, but to others, to help navigate through these situations. Like you said, you just didn't know what to do with it. You didn't know how to process it.
Yeah.
So you're trying to process and function through life on the best way that you could figure out because you're still learning.
Yeah.
So you're teaching yourself what you don't know.
Yeah.
In the best way, in the best possible way you know how. So now you're bumping heads with dad. You're at that stage where you both know everything. Dad doesn't want to hear nothing you got to say because you're a child.
Yeah.
You don't want to hear anything dad got to say because his ass is old. What you going to tell me, dad? And you weren't even there the first 10, 12 years of my life, and now you want to tell me what to do? Grandma, dad, we ain't got nothing to talk about.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I know.
And from there, I ended up being homeless.
Wow.
When I came back to North Carolina, I don't know what happened, but it's there's a miscommunication. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. But at some point, I'm just by myself now, so I'm literally in the streets.
So, okay, wait a minute. I missed a gap here. You went back home to your cousins, where your auntie was.
Yeah.
Stuff is still popping off in Alabama. You saw your first person get killed.
Yeah.
Things are real down there. It's not the memory you had growing up.
Nah.
So
Absolutely not.
when you see these things, how long do you stay before you end up back in North Carolina?
Like maybe like a year, half a year.
So you thugged it out down in Alabama for a year.
And that didn't work out.
And you're like, I gotta go.
Yeah. And so I came back home. I was like, let me go back to North Carolina then.
So by now
and
you call North Carolina home.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was supposed to be coming back, and I was supposed to be living with my dad, but something happened there. I don't know what happened in that situation, but so when I came back, I was just kind of by myself. I was like at the bus station for a little bit. Like
so we
for a
mean
couple
at the
days,
bus station for a
as in
little
a
bit.
couple of days, I was at the bus station.
Wait a minute. So
Yeah.
like just in the bus station on the hard seats, use the bathroom and sink in the bus station. You're talking Greyhound.
Yeah, Greyhound, yeah. Well, with my one bag of stuff.
What town were you in?
I was in Charlotte.
You in Charlotte at the bus station for a couple of days. I know where the bus station is in Charlotte. Yeah, I know where the bus station is in Charlotte. There's a church near that bus station in Charlotte. You know, it's a police station over there now, right?
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's over there by the train station too.
I went there when I was there.
Nah.
It was some wild stuff going on.
So what did you eat at the bus station?
Snacks from the vending machine,
the
because
vending
I had like a couple dollars in my pocket, so I had to like stretch that out.
So how were you formulating your plan on what to do next?
I was like, who do I know, and like in my phone and with prepaid minutes on it, like scratching and
prepaid
surviving
days.
on that,
Oh yes.
So I'm like, who do I know down there, and didn't really know too much down there. So and my cousins, I didn't really have contact with. I didn't know where they were no more at that point, you know. And so I just had to like, let me just get back to Chapel Hill then, where I was at. So I went back to Chapel Hill, and when I went back to Chapel Hill, there was a shelter there. So I was like bouncing back and forth with shelter and going to friends' houses that I knew from school. So I go to a friend's house for like a few days or like the weekend, and they'll drop me off on Franklin Street, so I won't tell them where I'm going. I was just like, oh yeah, well, just drop me here.
Yeah.
And so I went through that for a little bit.
You know your friends knew, right?
Yeah.
We always know. We always know. We had those same friends. I was that friend one time.
Well, they're not really friends no more anyway, so but it's and at one point I was staying with my a guy I ended up meeting out there, K. Mills, who's my producer. He put me on rap, and that's as we get to that, that's when I started doing the music thing. So at this point I wasn't really doing music. I was freestyle.
You were trying to live.
I was trying to live. Yeah. So I would stay with him for a little bit, and then I go to where I'm gonna go. And then,
wait a minute, that's a major segue though. So how did y'all meet?
Through MySpace.
Back to MySpace.
I was still on MySpace. So on MySpace I'm popping, but in real life I'm not.
So wait a minute, we missed something then. So at what point? Okay, so we getting the backstory. You're homeless.
Yeah.
You're down in Alabama. You're going back and forth. You're bumping heads with your dad. At what point are you able to make music and put it on MySpace, or were you just freestyling, no production?
Yeah, I was like freestyling, no production.
And
Well, no, I was. It wasn't like production. It was like a computer microphone and beats on SoundClick or beats off of YouTube. No, not even YouTube. Like I wouldn't even use YouTube like that. It was like SoundClick or like it was instrumental sites that had stuff for J Arms, J Arm instrumental album.
Yep, and you pick one and you do your thing on top and play with it.
Early.
Yeah.
Johnny Giuliano.
Yeah, so I had.
He got the voice.
Yup. And that was before, like I was making full songs. So I was getting songs that people was liking that was just freestyles. And I wasn't even writing, I was just freestyling and making whole songs with choruses and all that.
So were you doing this on your phone?
Nah, it was like a computer mic. depending on who friend house I was at a little bit.
That's what I was
using
gonna
my-
say.
yeah.
You homeless? Where you getting the computer from?
No, I got a computer mic, so I take
Use
it
the
with me.
computer mic, travel it with
Yeah,
you.
in
Get
my
to
book
somebody's
bag.
house.
Yeah.
Upload a freestyle.
I
real
still got
quick,
friends
put it on
now that
MySpace.
still, that's still my homies, and they's like, yeah, I still got songs he recorded on my computer.
Y'all better hold on to that. Y'all better hold on to that for real, because this is classic right here. Y'all better hold on to that. So let's run it up real quick. We're gonna play catch up.
Mm-hmm.
You run into your producer. You meet your producer on MySpace. He hits you up on MySpace and says what? Or did you hit him up?
I think I hit him up. I think I heard some songs and some beats he had on his page, and I was like, yo, if we could work together or something. I'm at this is before even knowing like, oh, meet a producer and y'all clink up. It's just like, yo, I like this. This is dope. It says you're in Durham. That's not fun. And so he was like, yeah, and then he seen the potential, and from there, that's going into the SkyBlew story. So but I meet him, and then he teaches me a little more about rap and cadences and flows and all this stuff. And it's the first time I'm recording in like a home studio with a professional setup and everything, and the mic inside the closet, but it's still padded, everything like
exactly. It's soundproof walls.
And that's when those MySpace songs started to get better and started to hit them hundreds of thousands, because now there's
Hundreds
production
of
behind
thousands.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you already had your following with the freestyle,
Yeah.
over the instrumental samples that you got,
Yeah.
and you MySpacing it up. People are following. You're living out the bus station. You reach out to your mans, and can we work together? How do you get out of the bus station? Oh, you left the bus station. You're in Chapel Hill.
Yeah,
now.
Chapel in the
and
shelter.
you're in a shelter. How do you get out the shelter?
Okay, so how to get out of the shelter was, now we into
Yeah,
so
yeah.
from there,
Facts.
This is
Mayday.
good part?
Mayday's
Yeah,
coming
this
in.
is good
Mayday's
part?
about to
Insert
come into play.
Mayday, insert Mayday.
So I end up, one of my good friends, Daquan.
That's my nephew's name.
Oh wow!
Shout out to Daquan.
Bless him.
Everybody
Shout out to
knows
Daquan. So everybody knows what. So I would go to his house on weekends too, with his mom, Jackie Parrish, and so.
Shout out Miss Jackie.
Shout out to Miss Jackie. So
Thank you, Miss Jackie, for
shout
looking out
to-
for my man.
I'm calling her Miss Jackie now, but you'll see how this transitions. So so
This is
she
getting good.
yeah, it's exclusive stuff, by the way. So
Is it still rated PG-13?
mhm,
Okay. If not, I was just gonna be ready for it. I was gonna ask for a drink. That's all.
so
So Miss Jackie,
yeah, they were. I would go to her house on weekends and just hang out, play games and stuff like that. And she
wait a
making
minute, Miss
good
Jackie
meals.
is Daquan's mom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So she
Y'all
make
still
it-
friends?
Who me and Daquan?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm a yeah. See,
Okay,
it's
all
going.
right.
Yeah, you'll see where it's going. Yeah. So
I'm excited to see the
so-
story.
I appreciate you. Yeah, so they was picking me up, and so during this time, I'm still, I'm recording now. K. Mills house and stuff, AC, Showtime. They did, all this is starting to happen, and then before I even get to that, I'm gonna get right back to it. My mentor, Mr. Baldwin, Charles Baldwin, I was finishing high school. You know Mr. Baldwin?
Yes. Carry on though.
Oh wow. Okay. So he was my mentor, who was also encouraging me to write. And I was freestyling and stuff, but when I would write poetry and stuff, he was like, "You should actually write, like take this serious." And so he was a mentor, and he was making sure I was finishing up high school, and
That's
I
right.
was in the shelter, and he was making sure at times I had like a taxi picking me up from the shelter so I can get to school and back.
Nah, we can't play with that. He
Yeah.
saw it. He saw
Yeah.
what was in there.
Yeah, Mr. Baldwin. So from there, I'm still in the shelter now. I'm going to Daquan's for a while. We was really close, and so his mom would drop me off on like Sundays on Franklin Street. I was like, yeah, drop me on Franklin Street, and people that know Chapel Hill know Franklin Street is a landmark street, and the
Yes.
shelter is like right down the street from it. And so I
I
was
never
like,
knew that.
I was like, just drop me off on Franklin Street, and she gets suspicious at some point, and I don't know this is happening. So whatever her and Mr. Baldwin worked out, they still didn't tell me. But I just know one day she knocking on the door and like, you coming home.
Wow. I told you, people
So-
know. We know these things.
Miss Jack is now mom.
That's right.
That's right.
I felt like this is where we was going. So say Daquan is now your
My brother. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. We're
Yeah.
not gonna have our babies out here in the street. That's what we're not gonna do. You're not gonna be coming to my house, having a meal, me dropping you off somewhere on Franklin Street. Ain't
Yeah.
nothing going on Franklin Street every day. Only thing going on Franklin Street is a shelter. Either you sleeping on the bench or you at the shelter. Which one is it?
And see, the only reason I was able to get away with it for the time I was because at that time in high school, well, people still be on Franklin Street a lot, but all the students were always on Franklin Street. All the stuff. Everybody you knew, they was on Franklin Street.
Yeah.
So either way,
yeah,
something wasn't right because you should be home doing homework.
Yeah, should be.
But you on Franklin Street.
Yeah.
And how come I haven't seen any parents yet? You know, and why they letting you hang out on Franklin Street every single day?
Yeah.
I need to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Long story short, baby, let's go.
Yeah, exactly that.
That's what I'm talking. That is a beautiful that is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful background story because you have to understand the man behind the music. You have to understand the man behind the music to fully appreciate and to encapsulate the story. You just hear words. Unless you know the story, you're just hearing words. You can relate to it. Maybe you can't relate to it. It sounds good. It's a hype beat. You got a good flow. But then you realize that this story comes from somewhere, and it didn't come from Chat GPT. It didn't come off, Tubi. This is my story. This is a real life story, and you get a deeper and a greater appreciation for it. Now, Mayday, how do you insert yourself into Sky's life? How does this connection
That's
come
why
in?
the story really led so perfectly timed, to be honest. So at this time, I'd say maybe a couple months before I end up hitting Sky up, I'm recording my first songs ever in Durham down the street from where I'm at. Shout out to my homie Amir Hart. He was the first person. His mom would let us just come over. He had a mic. We were making mad noise upstairs. She wouldn't even tell us to stop. It was really, really cool.
Shout out to all the moms who saw the vision.
Man. Absolutely. So at that time, I had never really rapped in front of anybody. I had been writing since maybe I was 11 or so. I had a poetry assignment in class, and after I did it, I was like, oh, I kind of like this, actually. And so I used to get up in the middle of the night and write. And shout out to my brother too. We used to share a room, and he used to wake up and be like, yo, why do you keep turning the light on to go?
Who's older?
Me. So I used to tell him, shut up, turn over, and don't tell nobody I'm getting up to do nothing either, because I don't need nobody knowing that I'm doing this.
Why you cutting the light on, bro?
I was just there. I grew up listening in Blue Notice. I grew up listening to oldies. I didn't hear my first rap song until I was 13.
Wow.
So
wow.
And it was my cousins in Atlanta played me number one stunner. Shout out to Birdman at the time.
Wow, that was your first rap song.
And I loved it because I was watching all of the shows they were watching, listening to the music they were listening to. So I'm hearing this song. I'm like, I told my cousins, said, y'all know this is Gilligan's Island? And they were like, what is that? And I was
wow.
It's in the music. It's here. I pulled the show up and all this stuff. They were like, oh. I was like, you can do that in music? That's crazy. So
shout out to the professor and Gilligan and the captain.
Lost on that 3-hour tour, man. So, I was really just kind of coming out of my shell, and Amir was one of my best friends, you know what I mean? And it was like, yo, you can come over my house, we can record all this. The only difference started becoming was everybody at that time, and this is when Facebook started getting popping, and people were starting to put music out on Facebook, all over Durham, and a lot of it was very reflective of what was going on in Durham. Let's say that, you feel me? So it was a lot of elements that for sure you could find them or even be a part of them depending on who you know or where you were. But that wasn't what I actively had been pushed out of that area. So I was like, oh, I don't think I'm supposed to really talk about this, but I don't know what I'm supposed to talk about. And
you're supposed to talk about what you know, and if that's what you know, that's what you talk about. I
bought my first 2 CDs, me and my brother. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Trap Music by T.I. and Food and Liquor. You know what I'm saying? By Lupe Fiasco. So I had that joints, and I was going through Facebook one day, and you used to be able to just see people's little just videos that they posted of the song that they posted on there. And I see this one that it was 3 people had posted this joint. And I was like, SkyBlew? What is that? I played that joint. I was like, wait a second. Did he just say something about a video game?
I was like, bro, can you do that? I ran it back. I'm like, actually, that's kind of hard. That's crazy. And so this is before there was any like, oh man, I don't know how I was like, oh shoot, they got a direct message feature. I'm about to hit this thing apply.
Yo, he's rapping about
I was
video
like,
games.
yo, are you really rapping about this shit, bro? Can we go hang out? South Point just opened. Like, you know
South
what
Point
I'm
just
saying?
opened.
Like,
The mall, by the way, y'all.
the mall,
That's
you know what I'm saying?
crazy.
And so
That's history right
he
there.
was like, yeah, and we literally just like hung out. I remember getting the ride there. You feel me? Shout out to moms that ask a whole bunch of questions. You know what I'm saying?
And
Everything
you're
down
going to the mall
social.
for what?
She said,
Who you
doing
going
what?
to
Who
meet?
is this? To do
Exactly.
what?
And
He
what are
does
y'all gonna
what?
do there?
You doing what?
And how
So
did you
how are
meet
you
him?
involved? Like all of that.
His mom the best.
Whole ride there. Like, and whole ride back too. Cause
So what did y'all do?
We just pretty much, and it was crazy. We really just hung out and found out that we loved the same stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
We were like just talking about a bunch of anime, you know what I mean, cartoons, different music. And he was really the first person to put me on to like what people would consider to be like traditional hip hop. And he was like, yo, you might want to go listen to this, or you haven't heard like this album, or you might want to go listen to this joint. And it was like literally, and this is the first time we just got a computer at the house.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Man.
Huge deal.
It's a big
Huge deal. I couldn't even use it all the time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't
Because
and it wasn't a
eventually I was
DOS
gonna
system.
break it. You know what I'm
It
saying?
wasn't a DOS system.
It was a
But
gateway.
but oh yeah, my first system was a gateway, and you had to plug the phone cord in for the
Oh
internet.
yeah, made that crazy
That
sound.
dial-up.
Like, go out.
AOL
Yeah,
joint.
yeah. Oh. Don't be trying to sleep downstairs, man. When that joint go out, you gonna think it's coming for you.
It's no phone calls being made at this time.
Oh no. Yeah, people took for granted you can be on the internet and on the phone
Yeah.
at the same time.
That's a fact.
So you know what I mean. I really found like a older
kindred spirit.
brother. You know what I'm saying, in the sense of both like music but just like everything else that has like gone on in life. You know what I mean? Just to be able to like be able to talk about and be able to talk to. And so I was like, shoot, I'll come up to Chapel Hill, bro. And
Mom,
so
can you take me?
it was like almost every weekend you pretty much like, or like every Friday after school was like, yo, I'm probably gonna get dropped off there. I'm not coming back until like I gotta leave Sunday. Like what time I gotta leave? Like school, are you sure?
Moms will do these things for their sons.
Yeah.
For their sons.
Even if they have no idea what's going on.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? My mom was just like,
But you better believe she investigated.
Yeah.
oh yeah. Now she came on there first time. She asking questions. You know what I'm saying?
I need to see
Yeah.
what's going on in
everything.
here.
But you know what I'm saying? Really meeting Blue really is kind of all one needs, because you're like, all right, yeah, he's pretty cool. This is fine.
All right, they ain't doing
So,
nothing. They ain't doing nothing. I'll
you
be
know,
back
from
Sunday.
there, it was as we call it, man. It was nothing but dojo times. We used to, you know what I'm saying. Blue was in the basement, you know what I'm saying. So
Basement,
we
you know.
dojo, you know what I mean. And you used to just go down there, rock out the beats, write, freestyle, just talk about music.
And be in
watch
each other's
games,
energy
anime.
like that.
Yeah.
Because it's
Play
not
video
easy.
games,
Now you
yeah.
think about it, because now everything is anime. Now, but when we talking about the era, beginning stages of Facebook and MySpace, you know, to be, I'm gonna say this because I am an anime person,
Hey.
but I am beyond. I'm above that anime age. I mean, I'm not even gonna say that because there's a lot of people in my era that love anime, but I didn't take a strong interest in anime, and so I sat down with my son to watch a couple of series or to watch an episode. And what deterred me from anime, I don't know if you can consider that anime, you know, but going back to, well, it is anime because now my 12-year-old watches it. And he's riding down the street, and he's like, "Mom, there's Goku in the back of that car." What you know about it? You don't.
You already know what it
Yeah,
is. You see
The
the
goat.
pins my man got up there. He out there.
Goku. You know.
Oh, you do have one? Yeah, you got him.
Oh, yeah.
But what determined, I'm like, why do they stay still?
my
Like, why?
wallet.
And in the wallet. I was like, why they don't move? I like, why do they go from here to over there with just a streak of lightning? Like, why they not actually doing moves, and why they gotta be in the sky so long before they come down? I was like, I can't watch this. I can't watch this. And that's how I was, but I had to come back to it when I started seeing other anime cartoons out there. And what really gave it the footwork where I would actually take the time. What is the one with the dude was the fox? He got the seven.
Oh, and Inuyasha.
That's it. That's his name.
Inuyasha.
Yeah, that took it to another level for me. I like this man got a whole demon. This boy got a demon inside of him. And he got turned into a fox. I was caught up in the
she's
story.
talking about
Oh, and Naruto.
Naruto.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Naruto.
yeah. What
Yeah,
it,
shout out to Naruto, man.
and then
Because Inuyasha got the demon too, so that's why I got confused.
that's okay. Yeah, it's so many of them. I watched so many, all of them. We got a whole station. But
Yeah.
what really took it with the is when they came out with the Avatar, and it was like all me and all my siblings.
Wow.
I was like, you see the skills, you see the feet sliding, like you see the movie. They got all the elements. So I was stuck. I was deep in the anime. But we're talking prior to all of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So to have a following or to be in that liking of people who can relate, that was a big deal.
Rare.
Yeah, so that was a big deal. Like, oh, you like that too?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Oh man,
It was rare because really you could only watch anime at that time if you were staying up late. They weren't just like
Exactly.
you could catch it in the afternoon. Shout out to Tsunami, you feel me?
Yeah.
And you could catch it at the very like end of the night. You know what I'm saying? If you're supposed to be in bed, you up right now.
I'm like,
Yeah.
why they
Like,
got
and
tails?
And that's
I'm like,
shout
what's
out to
wrong
Adult
with them?
Swim. You know what I mean? And so it was very rare to find anybody who was like, we were staying up the whole night too. I mean, you just be up.
Yeah.
As soon as Tsunami go, as soon as the Adult Swim go off, we rapping and then we go to bed.
But you gotta watch this first.
Yeah,
You know, we gotta
yeah.
keep-
It's that
But now it's
inspiration.
everything. Isn't now? Think of the years that have passed from how long we say you. I was already up on that. You know, I was up and think
Yeah.
about it now, and it's the forefront. Everything is in the forefront. You had to get there. We got our backstage. Eon Flux.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
We got our
Yeah.
behind the scenes though. We got our crowd in the back.
Yeah.
Y'all can't see them, but we got an
some-
audience.
some faces out
Yeah, we
there.
got some audience. We got some audience participation, and one of our members said Eon Flux.
Yeah.
So needs to say she's a woman, but yes, Eon Flux. But shout out to that. That was some.
Yeah.
Not was that is because you can go on Prime now and watch that. Yeah, I
they
think
did
so.
that.
Yeah, but yeah, I get it. So for you all to have that connection, to be there, and, and for you to come up with your brother Daquan, does he pronounce his Daquan or Daquan?
It's definitely Daquan.
That's my nephew, Daquan, but I still call him Daquan.
I love what you say. You definitely got to say Daquan. 'cause
Definitely
it's
gotta say
Daquan
Daquan.
because that day adds an extra quan to it. Of what makes him Daquan. Quan's a trip. I'm telling you.
So, and you by this time you got to be comfortable now.
Yeah.
You got to be comfortable.
For the first time, besides my grandma, I'm like, oh, I'm comfortable noticeably. Like, oh, wow, okay.
I'm not stressed anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about where I'm going next.
Somebody loves me,
Exactly. And
That's really the
you
most
know it and you
important
including
recognize
him.
it.
That's my brother.
Exactly. And love doesn't have to be blood related.
Yeah.
To feel that. We find our closest siblings in friendship. I can say no degrading my siblings. I got a lot of them. I love all y'all. Mwah, mwah,
No,
mwah.
most definitely. I love my brother.
But my
Appreciate
siblings
it,
know
appreciate
my non-biological siblings because that's how close we are. We know each other's family. And as we know, again, I'm going to repeat this because this is who I am. We just biological beings here. We knew each other before we came here. So you all found each other. You insert Mayday into your life at this point. You're going to go through this, but then this is going to happen, and you're going to meet this person at this point. You all, it's your soul family. It's your soul cluster, and that's why it's love like that, and that's why you don't have to be
Yeah, that's love. That's
biologically
real.
related
That's real.
to have that. And now we got Facebook. The exposure is crazy.
Yeah.
You all got your man K over there with the studio.
Yeah, the basement.
Mills.
Y'all in the base and y'all doing it, and we between Chapel Hill, Durham, and we don't even insert any other location now. This is the area. We only have the front line. We on Franklin Street no more.
Yeah.
We in the basement,
Yeah, we're in the basement. Yeah.
and we using real studio equipment.
Yeah.
We building followers, and you got like-minded like people, and you got heavy beats that's coming with it, and heavy production that's coming with it, and you found that you could talk about whatever you want, and the people who was for are gonna follow you, and you didn't have any problems with that because you had several hundred thousand
Okay.
several 100,000 followers.
Okay. Now we're gonna transition
go.
from there.
Now,
because,
now it ain't MySpace no more.
it ain't MySpace no more. Yeah, because MySpace started dying.
Yeah, it did.
And then
It did phase out. It
Yeah.
did phase. I remember that. Yeah, I lost my beautiful profile. I had music up there too back in the day.
MySpace was the best. It was the cool. It taught people how to code, to put backgrounds.
did.
Literally, you coding
did.
Embedding things and
You
stuff.
worked.
Like, yeah, you made your own website.
You did.
And it was cool. That's why people were so proud of it. It was like, yo, this is cool.
I did this.
Yeah.
Exactly. It did. But now you got Facebook.
Yeah.
You got regulations,
Yep.
stipulations.
And you got everybody in the area rapping.
Everybody started rapping.
To the point where I got to turn my wall off because you're posting on my wall every day.
Oh yeah, this the first. This before people even when they first figured out you could tag people, it was up from there. You
turn
had you
that
couldn't.
shit
This was
off.
before
I
it was
can't
just a
take
regular
it.
tag. Your tag was just somewhere on their cover art.
Yeah.
Exactly.
99
You
people.
and 99 other people.
Yeah, I can't stand it. I mean, thanks for the cleanup, Facebook. Thanks for the
Yeah.
cleanup because those beginning stages. It's like you couldn't do anything. You were a slave to it. It's like, what am I doing with all this? I gotta go through individually each one. And da 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 da. Yeah, you in places you don't know where you are. You gotta find those. Who are you? Why? What is this you dropping on my page? Where's my music I put up here? Now I got all this other stuff that you tagged me in. Exactly. So how are you competing? I'm not gonna get too deep because we're gonna take a break. But now you're at a stage in your life where you got to figure out how to stand out with the other 100,000 people that's on Facebook putting music out there and exposing themselves. But I feel that you still had a one-up because they weren't doing and saying the things that you all were rapping about, and they weren't in the sky, painting the sky blue like you were. Were we sky blue yet?
We was transitioning to SkyBlew.
We're transitioning into that stage.
Because I was Young Millionaire at first.
Hey,
If you know, you know. Unfortunately.
No, it's never unfortunate. It's never unfortunate. Everything is an experience.
That's true, that's
Everything's an experience. If you don't have the experience, you don't have what you are now. So nothing
true,
is
that's
ever
true.
unfortunate.
Butterfly gotta be the caterpillar. Man.
And you got to that chrysalis phase is necessary to make you who you are now. So nothing's unfortunate. We're gonna take a break. We're gonna come back. Now we're gonna get into the music. You got the background. You got the history. You know where it's coming from. Now let's see where it's going. All right, this is Fi with Finsta and Fi, and we'll be back.